AEW celebrating 5 years this week, by the way.
Oh, are we
And
going to talk about that right now? Oof.
no, we'll hit that. But look at remember how they handled COVID, which it was great how they did it for the first couple shows, and after that, it was like, ugh, like it was. There was
Yeah, I
some.
think Chris Jericho is still getting by on the goodwill he had when he was like a good announcer for 2 episodes. And then he literally was that was it. And then everyone was like, and then he just started screaming when he announced.
Well, that moves us into the 5 year anniversary show, which we'll talk about in general. But Chris Jericho versus Mark Briscoe, what did you think of that angle?
So it's pretty cool, man. I watch it. I was watching this while I was out. So on my little media player on my phone, there's a little like 10-second skipper.
Yeah.
And I just hit that about 17 times until Mark Briscoe started talking. And then I stopped and then I listened to him. Dude, honestly, Vic, I'll tell you, I have not heard Chris Jericho talk in 6 months, I think. I
It's
can't do
annoying.
it. And I there's like a groundswell, right? For like Big Bill to
Beat the
turn.
crap out of him.
Are they still teasing it? I mean, I don't watch these segments. I can't do it. But I did watch Mark
I don't
Briscoe.
know. I think Tony has a sweet spot for Jericho, and I what I don't like about Jericho is the
He's a fanboy,
disingenuousness.
dude.
Huh?
He's a fanboy of Jericho.
That's
And Jericho's
normal.
taking advantage of him like a girl would take advantage. It's like, have you seen the movie? Have you seen the movie Can't Buy Me Love?
Yeah.
Jericho is the pretty blonde girl, and Tony is the guy who saved up all this money to buy a telescope. And then he's like, "Hey, if you help my record company, I can help you I can help your wrestling company, but you have to give me all your telescope money." And then he like gave him his telescope money.
I, Jericho, I know you're mad at Jericho. Everybody's turned on Jericho, but initially it
Oh
was a
my god,
big
he
deal.
turned on us, dude. Don't make it about me.
No, you know what it is that Vince had him in check, and yeah, he went on his tours and he left. But the funny thing was when he went on his tours, he also left wrestling for a while, so it kept him fresh to come back. And the one of those comebacks didn't work. The most of them did. Um, when the Save Us Y2J one, I think was the one that didn't really work, right?
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
And look, what I didn't like about real quick, I don't like his disingenuousness about all of a sudden he's anti WWE, and he reaped all the benefits. They put that. Looking back now, some things don't age well. Looking back now, because you're looking at Jericho now, you're like, should he have been the undisputed champion over Austin and all them? I saw a video with Kurt Angle saying that initially he was going to be the undisputed champion, and they took it away from him because Vince told him, "I think this will help Jericho," and it did. It boosted him up. It was also still kind of stupid because he won because Austin went in there. Like he keeps forgetting that Austin went in there and beat the Rock up or something
Yeah, I
before
think
he got the pin.
both of his wins in that little mini tournament, I think they're both bullshit wins, if I remember correctly. Correct?
Yeah, so it's like okay, but he clearly believes on shit. But this is the positive of having a Vince McMahon. I think Vince was like, "Oh, well, look, we're not going to accommodate you, but if you want to go on your little tour, to tour with your little band, and it's fine." And the rock and roll community, he's made friends and inroads in that, and it's great. And I think because these festivals get so big and they need people, and he is a rock person and big in Europe, they sign him up to do this, but he's kind of believing like his own hype. But Fozzy is not a big band.
No,
The
dude.
wrestling has made Fozzy a thing, not the other way around, but he acts like Fozzy made wrestling.
It's like no one
That's the
was
biggest
clamoring for
problem.
Fozzy exists because Chris Jericho gathered up some musicians who were unemployed at the time who have a little bit of I mean one guy was in Stuck Mojo and then I mean I don't know who the rest of the guys are, but I mean that's like he like finances his own shit. It wasn't like people gave them money. Oh man, we need more Fozzy. Like he paid for that.
No, no, and to be honest with you, the reason Judas and was a hit was because of wrestling fans, because of
Yeah.
the wrestling fans. It's a okay song. It's lodged in my head because during that period, thank God they finally took it out because I think it finally had ran its course. Probably ran its course a year before they took it out of rotation. But
But like, why would he give up those sweet, sweet royalties?
look, what he did the first 2 years wasn't that bad, but then it was like to a point where like we needed a break from him, but he's getting everything he wants. He's on TV all the time. They promote his band all the time. Like Vince kept the reins on that stuff. And that's the reason Jericho is hurting his own career. And I know he thinks he's being like the top heel now. Hulk Hogan had said it, and I think there's some half truth to it. I think Hogan might have exaggerated the part that makes him look good, like he often does. But Jericho apparently he said that Jericho told him, "I'm in my Hulk Hogan NWO period" or something like that.
Yeah, Hulk
And
Hogan also said that him and Michael Jackson made a song for a sick kid who smelled like he was dying, and then
I've heard it. I was there. I was there.
you're
It
there
was
live. Oh fuck yeah, good for you, man.
it was
You got backstage
actually
you got
it was
backstage
actually
passes.
Man in the Mirror. The first version was with Hulk Hogan. He said the opening line. It's time to
I
make
also
a
heard that he
change,
did the
brother.
bass solo on "Let's Go Crazy" from Prince.
Did he say that really? That's hilarious.
No, I just said that, but fuck, why not, dude? Let's just start throwing them out there.
He was supposed to be in Purple Rain. You don't know that. It was not going to be Morris Day at the time. It was going to
It
be
was gonna be red and yellow rain.
that's right.
It was gonna be red and yellow rain.
Listen, Vanity, you gotta bathe yourselves in the water of Lake Minnetonka, sister. By the way, could Purple Rain, side note, could Purple Rain
God
be
damn, we cannot stay on
rewritten?
wrestling.
We are, because this is listen to the question. Could Purple Rain be rewritten to be about pro wrestling?
Oh,
Think about
Vic,
it.
Vic,
Could Purple
you're
Rain?
stretching, dude. Holy
No,
moly!
I know that's a stretch. I think it could be done.
I never wanted
I,
to be a weekend lover. What a great song, man.
yeah.
Dude,
Where
you know
it's
what?
that.
That's like one of the best ballads that you can't like slow dance to.
And what's it about? It's about Purple Rain.
Only
He's
wanna see you. You know, he also wrote Nothing Compares to You, right?
yeah,
Yeah, isn't that
classic.
crazy?
It's been said.
Who knew he wrote such good ballads, man.
My favorite Prince anecdote was remember when he did the Super Bowl? Um, Foo Fighters. Everybody loves Prince. Everybody loves Prince for the most part. Foo Fighters love him so much they did a cover of "Darling Nikki." Remember?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Prince doesn't like anybody doing covers of his songs, even
And
though
then
he
after he
covered.
died, everyone's doing them now.
Yeah.
They are, dude. Everyone's doing it.
Remember, he famously did Radiohead's "Creep" at a concert. Somebody posted video, and he had them take it down. And they're like, Radiohead's like, we wanted to see it, like, and they couldn't get access to see it because they heard about it, which is it's really hypocritical. Anyway, so he was mad that the Foo Fighters did the cover of "Darling Nikki." So you watch the Super Bowl, he does a halftime show, one of the greatest times ever, one of the greatest halftime shows ever. He's doing all his hits, and in the towards the climax, he does "Best of You" by the Foo Fighters, and it oddly stuck out. It was awesome, but it oddly stuck out. That was his "fu" to the Foo Fighters for covering a song. He did it at the Super Bowl. They're like happy that he did it. They were like, "We're not offended." But the fact that he would be like, all right, well, I'm going to get back at him by doing the cover of their song at the Super Bowl, like, and throw an FU at like an iconic climactic moment of the Super Bowl, which just
Weird.
shows you we're talking again. And this is the Jericho effect, except Jericho's nowhere near Prince on any level. It's maybe not even the wrestling world. Ego gets to your head. See how I brought it all the way around there, Tinkle? Ego gets to you, and Jericho is so full of himself right now that it's, do you think
And
it
I
was
hate how he's like in real life he's full of himself, but then he made this character that's full of himself, so then he could be like, "Well, I'm just doing a thing, man," and like, yeah, you're doing all the things, dude. I
does
will
A
never, ever, ever forgive him for that bullshit 30th anniversary match he did when he wrestled his chubby friend Luther on national television. That guy was it was so embarrassing, dude. It was so embarrassing. I remember like that was during like the pandemic, no one could go outside, and I was all pumped up on caffeine. Like, dude, I started drinking more caffeine during that, which was like the worst thing, and also like microdosing. So I was all over the place. And I just remember screaming at my TV, dude, like so mad. I was like, because also I don't know, no one else really like, no one else like really picked up on it. But 5 years earlier on his podcast, he was telling this, a few years earlier, he was telling this story about how he went to like Vince McMahon's office and was like, I have my 25th anniversary coming up, and I want to do this thing. I want you to fly in, Lance Storm. I want you. And Vince is like, yeah, no, go fuck yourself, dude. What? So he was, but he was telling this story because like he doesn't get he doesn't get it, dude. He thinks
yeah.
he's like so great that every idea he has, we have to go along with it. So then when he did this, so he told that story, and then he got the cute chick. He was a cute chick, dude, and he got the guy who sold his telescope. He gave him his telescope money. And 5 years later, for the 30th anniversary, he got exactly what he wanted when Vince told him no. I swear to God, you can go back and listen to it. It's so funny. And no one like picked up on it, but he literally was told no by Vince. He waited 5 years. I was like, well, on my 30th anniversary, I'm gonna fly my friends in. And this Mark who sold his telescope, he's going to he's gonna pay for all of it. And he did. And then we had to watch them. Remember when Luther tried to go on the top rope, dude, and he couldn't get up there and fell down?
I don't get
That was the main event, dude.
the Dr. Luther was a Canada thing because I don't understand what I think he's
Dude,
actually
that was
been
his
best.
friend.
Hold
It was
on,
his.
I understand. I think Luther's been best utilized as Tony Storm's butler, which should tell you a lot
They're all friend
about that.
hires, dude.
That's it. I get it, Dr. Luther, or whatever they call, but I don't like it. What did you think of the Mark Briscoe segment?
I mean, Mark Briscoe was gold, man.
Did you think it was cheap that he brought up the brother Jericho, like that whole angle of it? Were you
It was
comfortable with it?
funny.
People
I
get
was
freaked
like, as
out.
soon as I saw Jericho grab the mic, I hit my little button. But then I saw Mark Briscoe, but it went forward like 10 seconds. And then I saw Mark Briscoe's face, and I was like, ooh, he said something about his brother, I bet you. And then I went back and listened to it. Yeah, I mean, someone's got to do it. I'm sure that like
You know what's bad about it
someone
too
had
is
to
that
do it. I'm sure,
it wasn't.
Jericho's a big enough star to where, what are you gonna have fucking like private party do it? No, you might if you have someone who has a name value if you're gonna do it, but also save it for like not this match, not on like what 10 days notice. I don't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Oh
well,
God, I hate Jericho.
we know about the short term booking on in Tony Khan's world, but I didn't think he nailed it. I was like, it was like who it was. It didn't feel like. I don't think he executed it that well. I think if somebody else did it, I bet you Moxley could do it if he wasn't being a neo-Nazi over there. But
Like Samoa, yeah, with his hate group, dude,
yeah.
or like Samoa Joe. By the way, what's your name? Doesn't speak English anymore. I love it, dude. I love
Oh
it.
yeah,
You know what? It's better. It's better for all of us, dude.
that was pretty random. You know what was weird? The weirdest part about it all is you got Cesaro, now known as
Well, hold on,
what's
hold
his,
on. So let's like finish on the Jericho thing. So I actually am sort of looking forward to that match now. Jericho and Mark
but
Briscoe.
Mark Briscoe's is carrying the emotion in it and everything. He had a better promo than that and sold that better than they did.
Dude, the word of the day is like it's so dumb, but he's so good.
Yeah.
Dude, him and Juice Robinson, no matter how bad that guy books, dude, those guys are always gonna shine. Always gonna shine. I can't wait till we talk about him in a second. Oh my god, dude!
I like
I can watch that dude like read the newspaper, and he is so funny. He's so entertaining to me. And Mark Briscoe is the exact same way.
just going back to the Claudio thing though. We brought that up. Here's my take on Claudio.
So is this
Um,
when Claudio and them were calling out
yeah,
um
at the beginning of the show, the open where
yeah, okay.
he was saying like, you know, we were friends, nothing's changed. And it just made me think about, and this is why Miro's probably asking for his release and everybody. And they must be paying Claudio a bunch of money. But remember the conversation about the WWE and how they don't know how to use people with Vince. They don't know how to, you know. I will argue with you. What has AEW done for Claudio? What have they done for him? Remember, he should be a bigger star. He should be featured. We're talking about Ricochet, which we'll get into that too in a little bit. But here's like Claudio's supposed to be a big deal. We talked about Keith Lee, remember? Well, oh, if they got to go to AEW.
Jesus, you just mentioned like you just mentioned like, dude, if we start our own league now, if we had those five guys that you just mentioned that are being shit on, we could
Yeah.
it would take off. Okay, I'm sorry. Go
FTR,
ahead.
what are they doing with FTR? Like, what's so great about FTR? FTR had like a year and a half run, maybe two, and FTR is being wasted. Like again,
No,
all
FTR
the
and Briscoes killed it, and that's because they were in charge of their own thing. And like
but
I said, it was they couldn't f it up, dude.
but you know what? I'm going to be honest with you, and you know how much I actually like the Ring of Honor brand, and I think that that subset has potential. But at that point in that time, and I know you had to do it in Ring of Honor, but how many people really saw that? It wasn't on the AEW brand. They didn't make it that much of a deal on the AEW side of that. It's an iconic matchup. Don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to say, but even they botched it. What they should have done everything. They should have re-aired that thing on Dynamite. It would have been better. I don't understand their logic on that stuff. Sometimes they burn things on Ring of Honor and then they kill Ring of Honor. They make it feel like nothing, and then they'll put like a really amazing matchup on it. But you've been setting people up for this crappy product that you don't even promote the right way. I'm sorry, they missed the boat with that. They really did.
How
Athena
many
is one of the
different
best.
how how many different telescopes do you think that Tony Khan didn't buy?
I love you keep look. By the way, your analogy is spot on, and I love how you keep sewing that in there. But it really look, if you really evaluate, and this is why I defend actually the Ring of Honor part of it, and I hate picking on Tony Khan because I want him to do better, but
Yeah,
it's because you
I
got a
want to.
WWE writer to come in and write for Monet doesn't mean it's working.
No,
It hasn't changed anything with that
it
whole
is not
character.
working.
If anything, it's feeding into all the stuff how she wants. It's like there's certain friends of ours that they're doing great. They're doing great, and I
Bro,
appreciate
bro,
I
you just
appreciate
scoff laugh, dude.
yeah. No, they're doing great,
They're doing
but
great, and you like did like a.
but if they did the approach that people liked more, they would be iconic. And
If
and,
they did
and
something totally different than what they're doing, it would go
not
better. Is what you're
not
saying?
totally different, but here's the problem. Let me take it off that because I don't want to mix anything on that. Monet wants to be cool. Moxley wants to be cool. They want their vision to go in. They want their things. They're highly invested in their product. Sometimes, though, sometimes there's people that know what they're selling and they're on their own and they can make it on their own. But then there's some people, they need someone to say, hey, you need to kind of flip this part here, do that, change that. They need that production. They need that advice. They need to be tweaked to totally sell the point. And they're not doing that. Imagine if Hulk Hogan, and here's They love WCW and AEW. The AEW will love WCW, but look at the NWO. NWO was amazing. They were great. Don't get me wrong. But that was carried by Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, and Hulk Hogan kind of flowed into that. But what happened when when the inmates were running the asylum? What happened to the NWO? Do you remember? Here's a good question. I was thinking about this earlier today. Do you remember how the NWO storyline ended? And any aspect, do you remember how it ended?
No.
That's what's happening here with this whole thing. That's what's happening. I think Moxley's in a better place and a better direction. It's interesting, but someone needs to point him in the right way and tweak John Moxley because I have not dug this character. I know other people do. And the argument against it is from some of these fans is, well, it's about the wrestling. Yeah, it's about the wrestling, but it's also about everything else. You have to have some sort of direction. And this isn't Japan. And to be honest with you, everyone that says that, if you look at Japan, they have storylines, they have things happening. It's more subtle, but they have direction. You've got these people that are just out of control. Jericho, out of control. They're just, it's not working 100%. Monet, she isn't pulling it off. It isn't pulling it off. The best
No.
storyline angle and the best women's performer right now in the AEW umbrella is Athena. And she's buried on Ring of Honor, and they're not even
And
promoting her.
I don't know what she's doing, except for she's doing it really well from everyone who tells me.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
would put Mercedes and Jungle Boy in the same box as two characters that think what they are projecting is not what is actually happening.
The problem is I don't think you should have a committee like WCW did. That doesn't work either. But you need a couple of people that have good opinions in there. Tony's got the money. He's got good intentions, but he's not the strongest long-term booker. He thinks he's doing what he likes, not what makes sense. And you look at Jungle Boy as a good example. Jungle Boy comes in there because he's actually traveling everywhere in that stupid van, that bus. He's got his hot ass wrestler girlfriend in this bus, and they're traveling.
It's a FedEx truck, dude. It's a jumbo FedEx truck. It's the one that they use when they're taking flat screens places.
He thinks it's cool that he took the belt, melted it down, made it whatever, splattered paint on it, and made it look like it's grimy. And he's traveling around. He says, "This is what I want to do." And Tony's like, "Yeah, that's awesome." And then Tony says, "You're like Stone Cold." And Jungle Boy wants to be Stone Cold. What you need is someone who's not the boss and in charge of the money. You need a voice of reason in there to be like, well, I don't know if this works. Maybe we could try, like somebody to give a little bit of doubt in there.
You need someone to be like, hey, he's 165 pounds, dude, and his dad was on Beverly Hills 90210. So
that's not against. I think he's a good performer. I think
no,
things are
but
fun.
if you're Billy Bad, he's too small to be a Billy badass, dude.
He should have been a heel or a baby face, and he shouldn't be the jungle should evolve, but they should not be doing what they're doing now. They're making him be this badass heel.
Yeah, dude, is like Bobby Lashley? Is he gonna come in and like challenge Jungle Boy and like it's gonna look like a fair fight? I mean, that's what we're talking about, dude. Is like,
and then what happened to the Elite? 1 minute,
he's a badass up to 190 pounds, and then anyone over 190 pounds, he can't fight him because
1 minute the Elite and the Young Bucks were running the show and messing everything up. The next minute they're not.
They almost killed Tony Khan, dude, and never heard of it. Never heard about it ever again.
Kip Sabian stole Christian's pen.
Jesus Christ. After a badass, God damn it, dude.
Even Christian, who's doing some of his best work, though. But I think they got to kind of tone this down and start like evolving the character. All he's doing is going out there and doing the same character but there's like no stories anywhere.
Your dad's dead. I mean, it's sort of funny, but then it's also kind of like
It was good for a while, but it's like, okay, is that going to be your thing? Okay.
that was one of my favorite things I've ever seen in professional wrestling when I was there live. When he started doing that, it was like the second week, and the crowd was just like, "You're garbage." Like,
He's letting these people turn into the NWO. They're beating something good dead, or they think they're bigger than they are, and they're not. I mean, the NWO should be the biggest. On one hand, it's a success story. On the other hand, it's like a tragedy. It was just out of control. And I remember I watched it, and they did it once, and then they tried to keep doing it. Then they tweaked it. But remember the sold out pay per view,
oh
where
yeah,
it was like, what if NWO runs the pay per view? And I think it was worth a try. But then you're like, all right, this is weird. This I see where they're going.
yeah. Like, what
Yeah, I
happens
hope
if
that
all the what happens if all the bad guys run every match and well, it went exactly as you think it would go?
it did. And then they named like they did that. They had a beauty contest, and then they named a fat woman the winner, and then they put a toilet seat over. It was just like, okay,
Jesus
guys,
Christ, I remember that, dude. That's insane.
but is there parallels now to
they,
what's
they
going
did
on?
that. They did that.
And then the Will Osprey, the Will Osprey Ricochet match, by the way,
Okay, so let's get to last night's big.
main event. No one's no, open it
No,
up,
that
isn't
was
it?
the very first match.
Yeah.
Which, by
Go
the
ahead.
way, can we please talk about? I mean, it starts off. Dude, look, it's pro wrestling, so you have to. I know they're not really trying to hurt each other, but the very first thing is a scene when Will Ospreay is getting ready to go out and wrestle Ricochet, and Don Callis. No. First, Kyle, the loser Fletcher, he's like 0-10, dude, in the last 10 matches, 11, I think now. He's him and Osprey are like chummy. By the way, they had a great match last week. They could be a sweet babyface tag team. That's a different story for later. But they're like, hey, so the show just started. So I'm assuming that they just got there or they've been there all day. Kyle Fletcher's talking all nice to his buddy, and then Don Callis comes in like, we gotta talk about that bullshit last week when you didn't want to kill when you didn't want to kill someone with a 8-inch screwdriver. What's your problem, pussy? Like, and then he's like, Osprey's like, well, I'm getting. Which, by the way, that's pretty cool if you're gonna like bug the dude right before his big match. That's a cool thing. But then Don Callis goes, all right, well, we gotta go. I mean, we have to go to the airport right now anyway. And then they leave, and it's like, wait, so you showed up to the arena, you took an
Yeah.
Uber there, you showed up, and then you're just, oh yeah, never mind, we gotta go anyway. Like what? Like none of it. That's like I don't ask
La-
for much, dude, but just except for shit that makes sense sometimes, dude.
lazy writing.
But
Lazy.
that whole thing made him unlikable. Don Callis. It was cool, like oh, like you're gonna fucking bug a dude right before his match. Like that was pretty neat, actually. But then the whole like, oh, never mind, we're just gonna go to the airport. We'll just talk to you later. It's like, well, what
They're
time's your
under
flight? Like, I don't understand. So, all right, so that happened, and then the uh the rematch between Ricochet and Osprey, which they could have milked. They could have milked it. They could have done this 4 months later, but this guy, I gotta play with my toys now. So, what'd you think, dude?
look,
What'd you
I'm
think?
gonna be honest with you.
Oh shit! Here comes the truth hammer, dude. We need a drop right now. We need like, here comes the truth hammer.
I did not like the match.
Ooh,
I think they go in there and they do these choreographed things, and it just looks so bad. And I don't I think that they're in they're formulaic is what they do. you look at what made Ricochet great in the WWE, okay? And it's because the Royal Rumble, which, the Royal Rumble's planned, but it's also planned chaos. You know that
Yeah.
with the Logan Paul thing. All the matches he had were with great matches he had with people that really had different styles, and or they didn't have the styles like with him. So they were really unique, and they were really good to do that. And it's one thing to do them in the speed matches because they're 3 minutes and they're super fast. That was the thing. It was like you're driving as quick as you can. And if you make one mistake, it's like not only is it looked bad, it's a train wreck. People get hurt, that's the thing. So then you go over to these things, and I know people like it, and I know it would be great to see this in person, don't get me wrong. But we've essentially seen all of these Ricochet matches like before. So they go in there and they do exactly what I'm expecting in my head. They do a bunch of moves, but nobody goes down. Then they do the face off. Then they do the flips, like almost in stereo. And then they do the superhero landing in the middle of the thing. And you know what I did? Because I was watching like half an hour late of it. I fast forwarded to the last 2 minutes of it. And
Ah,
I don't think I missed anything. I'm
no,
not
you
trying to
missed
be
that same thing that like you just explained. You missed that happening two more times. Which, by the way, you know what's funny? So I was thinking the same thing, and I was like, they were trying to make it different because they're very, very talented. I mean, some of those things were like down to the millisecond, super impressive. But like you said, it always like I've seen someone get German suplex and land on their feet. I've seen someone
don't get me
do
wrong,
that
Circus
already.
Circus Soleil is amazing.
But
You
what's
know,
funny
and
is like
and it's
it
hold
was
on, but it's coordinated. Circus Soleil
yeah,
is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
It's coordinated. But if you see it once and then you see it again the next week, you're gonna be like, I just saw this. Why isn't it different? Why is it's because it's all choreographed and
Yeah.
coordinated. And that's what we're getting with Ricochet. Go ahead.
Oh no, that was pretty much like I could it was weird as I was watching it, it was like you could tell that they listened to what some critics said. So they did as different a version of the exact same thing that they could have. They
you know,
really, you could tell they really were like trying to make it different, but it's still the same exact. It's like you're playing like a 3 minute punk song. How many different ways can you make a 3 minute punk song? It's still going to be 3 minutes every single time, dude. It's like,
the
so
worst
some of
thing
it
to
was
happen.
really impressive,
Yeah.
but then they like, it was all a tease for like another one coming up. And it's like, dude, it's going to be the same thing again. I mean,
There
this
was
wasn't as choreographed as that big one that everyone really was like torn about. Remember? And then like that, I think it happened in New Japan. That one was really choreographed. I mean, they were still younger then. That was the one that I remember. I think surprisingly Stone Cold was like, I don't know, I liked it. And everyone's like, wait, what?
I think if they had waited a year, we probably wouldn't be complaining as much, but they didn't. And then they had him wrestling the same style match every week with basically Kyle Fletcher is like a B version of and I'm not denigrating him, but he's like Will Ospreay light in a sense. And I'm
Well,
gonna tell you this,
he's yeah.
I'm not saying he's the bad, but I'm just saying it was too similar. It was like Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, and anyway,
Oh yeah,
here's
you're
my
right. They
other.
did make him, and also like in order to make that match different, you gotta make someone a prick, dude. Like, why not make like Ricochet join the Don Callis family, and then he has a mouthpiece because like Ricochet, he looks like a shady mother MFer, dude. I bet you he would pull out an 8-inch screwdriver and have no problem looking a man in the eye and jamming it
Yeah,
in
have
his
him do
heart. It's
something
so
different.
stupid.
That's not a bad idea, by the way. And then besides the
No, because he
screwdriver,
needs a
then
mouthpiece.
like if I saw Ricochet with the screwdriver, I'd be like, oh,
So now
it's
that I think
different.
about it, that's what's weird. Is like like for that kind of match to work, you need one of them has to be a prick, dude. And Osprey having a little bit of edge, like, all right, well, you're gonna have to earn your way to beat me, whatever. And it's like he wins 4 matches against his like one against his best friend, and he's like, all right, I think you're ready. It's like Osprey was sort of a dick, but not really. It's like
They don't even know who the baby face and the heel is or anything. They don't. I don't even know. Think they know where they're going with anything. Here's
dude,
two
someone
points.
burned a house down, and I don't know if he's a bad guy. He tried to
Here's
suffocate him, and the other guy tried to suffocate a baby, and he's not a bad guy. So, you know, what are we doing here?
here's two points, two hot takes. Okay, I want to hopefully I
Oh
don't forget
God,
the
I
second
love
one.
it, dude. I love when you come with his hot takes.
The worst thing to happen to Will Ospreay is that Ricochet said yes to the contract and left. The worst thing to happen to Ospreay.
Because now they're gonna be like, you're right. Now they're gonna be intertwined, right? It's like,
Yeah, and everything's so formula. It doesn't do him any favors. And number two, 2 months ago, Ospreay was special. I don't have that feeling now. I don't feel like
no,
that.
because he wrestles every week, dude.
And they're not great matches. They're not like
Dude,
they're not well thought. There's no storyline. There's sort of a storyline with the Don Callis thing, but they're making it. They're not executing that well.
hey, remember when Hulk Hogan wrestled every week on wrestling, and then no, dude, he wrestled like that was when as a child when they had a 5 hour taping. We were like, no, we're not leaving, dude. Like me and my little brother were like, we're fucking watching the Hulk because we didn't get to see him, dude. It's like everyone is not special anymore on that thing.
MVP was
Except,
complaining
dude, you know who's special on that show?
too.
Miro, Wardlow, Mark Briscoe, because he never really wrestles. All the people who they shit on and they don't let them on TV, which I guess is good for them because they're gonna have value when they go to the other federation who's gonna know how to use them. But
MVP
everyone who
was
they like Brian Daniels, dude, he's doing a retirement angle and he's still wrestling every week. They just threw him and Okada for no reason, dude.
because it was the fifth anniversary, which is one of the major anniversaries in anything. How many people don't talk about how important the fifth
By the way, did
anniversary
you
is?
hear them say this was the 34th anniversary for Jericho and they wished him? I wanted to fucking. You know what I got mad about? Is next year at this time we're gonna have to deal with the 35th anniversary, dude. I immediately, like when they said, "Oh, I'm congrats to Jericho on his 34th," I was like, "God damn it! That means next year we're gonna have to put up with this shit, dude."
I just
Sorry,
no
I can't
no
do it,
no
dude.
like it's weird. I look at it this way, and this is what I was trying to say, but I know you were making your point too, which was a good point. But MVP was complaining because he wanted to be on TV more, and he thought we're almost we haven't seen in a while should be on TV. And Triple H said, "I'm not gonna make the same mistake that they made with the Big Show. He's gonna come in every once in a while, he's a giant. He's an attraction."
Yeah, which is cool. It's smart, and he's
Yeah,
also like, he's also not the best. So
and I hate to say this too, and they've moved Osprey away from that, and because they're using him too much, but it's so cluttered. They could probably get him to be special again if they figured out where they're going with the direction. But right now, in my head, Ricochet should be a guy that pops up once a month,
yeah,
or has a definitive storyline. Then he's off TV for like 2 months. Then he comes back
and
because we've
also
seen this stuff over and over again.
here's the deal: is they're not like they're not having 3 minute squash matches, dude. He's going out there and wrestling his exact same style match every single time, dude. Like he's not like
I'm
he's having
not
like a
being
20-minute match with everybody, and it's like
I'm not being a WWE mark, but at this point,
you are, but
I enjoyed his match with Logan Paul better than I did with Will Ospreay this last one.
you heathen, dude.
I'm just
We
telling you.
just lost. Well, there goes a
I can tell you why he was fighting Logan Paul, and I can't remember everything here in life in general, but I remember he was fighting Logan Paul over the Royal Rumble thing and Samantha Irvin, the ring announcer, I remember it got personal, and they had a big match, and I remember it was spectacular, and it was a little more, it was a little less predictable than what we saw. Like,
You know, that's a good point, dude. And that was probably the most interesting that Ricochet. I mean, it was a showcase for Logan Paul to like memorize a bunch of moves. That's all it was. And like he knew he could do some crazy shit with him. But you're right though. That was probably the most interesting that they have yeah, that like Ricochet had been there since he was like new.
you know what that was the equivalent of that match, by the way, and then I'll stop shitting on it.
Osprey
And Ricochet,
and Ricochet.
they might as well have sat in the middle of the ring and played patty cake. Patty cake, patty cake,
Oh.
Baker's man. Because that's all you're doing. And then
But
you're,
like
you're
a
trying to go
really
as fast as
choreographed version though. Like
that's what I'm, but that's what it was. Because you're going and then they're going faster, then they're slowing down, and they're trying not to break the rhythm. And that's all it was. And I know that there's other things, but there is a difference to these people that go in there and can call a match in the ring. It adds a level of spontaneity to it. And this one has gotten, it's to the point, I
oh
thought Osprey had a better match with Jericho.
yeah. Oh, you know what they did too? That match I hate. I hate it, dude.
What?
Is when they do that thing where like the one guy calls a guy to him and they're like doing it like, oh, let's go. But he's literally going, dude, fucking get over here. I hate it. I hate that, dude. I hate it.
That was the equivalent. Remember
It's
when we
so
were watching?
unprofessional. It's like it's not you're on television.
I think they fixed it this last time we had War Games, but for a while there, every time we had War Games and or a cage match, and they do it. I'm counting Blood and Guts, which is their ripoff of War Games, where the moment where everybody gets down and they start getting up, and then they all meet in the middle, and then they start yelling at each other, and then they all fight each other at the same time. It's such an overdone thing.
It's also
Overdone.
a momentum killer as well.
But
It's like a reset. It's a reset when you don't need a reset.
it's like when they go the part where they went in and they're doing hurricanranas and flips, but nobody's going the hurricanrana and nobody goes down, and then they're flipping each other over and they're all laying on their
They did
feet,
that like 10
and then they go
times.
like this, the face off, and then everybody goes, and it's like that's you know we as fans are conditioned to clap now to that type of stuff. That's why I get mad about the he effed up. This is awesome. You so it's all like we're trained monkeys, just out there playing our little cymbals. It's just I think we'd be better fans. I think we'd be better fans. I think
So
we'd be
you
better
not like
fans.
that match? Interesting.
I did not.
Do you want to skip all the other bullshit and talk about the Okada and like Danielson match? Was there anything else interesting? Not really. Britt Baker had a decent match against Serena Deeb, and that
I
was
st-
because Serena Deeb is like one of the best female workers.
I think
She would be the best, but they don't give her a chance because she's not one of their picks.
there is so Tony Khan is missing out on what he's doing with Athena. Either make Ring of Honor relevant and build it around her, or bring her to AEW and showcase her. And the fact WWE let her go, and they had their idea of a character, but stuff happens. Sometimes you got to leave to kind of find yourself and everything. If Triple H had Athena right now, but they're stacked over there. There's nobody on Athena. That's how much I'm impressed with Athena and Billy Starks right now. There's nobody on their level on that side of the world in the Tony Khan world. Every one of them, and it's great that what's her name had a thing. Sheeta now is coming out there wearing a dress shirt tucked into whatever. I don't know what her look is. She's more worried about style. Um, Tony Storm is starting to wane a little bit, and I know they have her in Japan and Mexico, and it still gives me a giggle when she's talking about having an affair with Stan Hansen or whatever. But now they got to develop that persona and evolve it, and they're not. They're just This makes me laugh, so I'm going to keep doing it. Monet is not worth it. They're not doing anything with Camille. Willow Nightingale has charisma and personality, but they keep putting her in hardcore matches. Deeb is talented, but her character too, like this professor gimmick and everything, they don't have anything going with her. Who else is over there? Uh, Perazzo and Taya Valkyrie are allegedly putting together a stable. And Taya Valkyrie's actually done some decent stuff with her husband, but it's real niche stuff in Ring of Honor. But I don't think that's going to go anywhere. I just dissected their entire women's division right now.
Yeah, you did.
And again, it's like Athena way on top. They're going to ruin Tony Storm at some point. Soraya, by the way, just to not leave her out, trash. Harley, what's her name? Trash. The fact they re-signed Soraya.
We're talking about as a wrestler, or what?
What has Soraya done? Anything? Has she given some killer promo?
I mean,
She's promoted her
she's done a
fan
lot of
again.
stuff, buddy.
Yeah, she hasn't done anything over there.
No,
What other women do they
she got
have?
her brother hired, and now I don't know. He's not.
They're just
This guy
collecting a
gets
paycheck.
like he gets bullied into giving people jobs, dude. We need to get a job from him, dude. Who can we?
Miro.
Who can we get to bully him into giving us jobs?
I pray. I know they must have offered Buddy Murphy a lot of crap. I pray because the other person I was gonna say Tommy End is old name, but not
Also, not.
Alistair. Now they call him Malachi. Um, him and Brody King. I hope Brody King. I know they're loving the culture and everything and all that stuff. But if those guys want to be stars, and they could be, they should be in the other brand.
I mean, it's so clear that all these guys are faking injuries to like run out their contract so they can leave soon.
I'd love to see, I'd love to see Buddy Murphy's not going over there. I'd love to see Brody King and Alistair Black in WWE. And then
Want that theme song again, dude.
I'd like to see Karrion Kross with them.
Wah, wah,
Uh,
wah, 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 wah,
uh,
wah, 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 wah. No one's ever truly good. No one's ever truly evil. Dude,
I
that's
don't
how my
know.
workout makes.
The Final Testament, I don't think is popping. I think if they just I don't think they will do it because it's his wife, but I think if they just put Karrion Kross on his own and drop the rest of them, I could see it going.
Ooh, are we
That
talking about that now? Raw?
I mean, we could because I don't want to get into this thing. It's the same story with the neo Nazis. We've talked about how Moxley and that storyline, and then you've got Bryan Danielson, Private Party, who I've not bought into. Private Party is mid card at best, and it's cute that they have the the security guard letting them into the
Yeah.
VIP area. It's adorable. That's all they have. Look at the top flight. Look at those people. Yeah, you know, I, I don't know. You know what's funny? We sit here and we're like Vince McMahon used to put characters, and what there was a trash man and there was this. Tony Khan has a stewardess and an airplane pilots group now.
He does.
What do you? They're
He
dressing.
does, man.
It's the same thing that Vince did.
And they're still real to me. You know what
They're
I'm saying?
still real. It's like, what we need? Vince was the worst. The new generation. Remember that stuff? It was terrible. Everybody was a trash man and an Indian. Yeah, man, we're not going to do that. So what are
Well,
we going to do this time?
are they fighter pilots or are they the
No,
commercial
they're
airline pilots? Because
they're they're commercial airline pilots. They're commercial airline pilots.
they came out with green Top Gun jumpsuits one time, so that's what I'm saying.
No, it
What
makes more.
pilots are they?
You see, everyone wants to see the hot chick in a stewardess outfit, but that wouldn't make sense to have Top Gun pilots and a stewardess. You have to make them commercial airline pilots in order to make it work. So they tweaked it. They're commercial airline pilots now. All right. They're at the bar in the VIP lounge drinking.
I
drinking
hope
right before
not.
the takeoff. Yeah,
Dude,
like
have
come
you
on.
seen that movie Flight with like Denzel Washington? I hope not. Because even if you're a hero and save a bunch of people, you still get in trouble for drinking on the job.
You know who saw Flight? Tony Khan, and he said, "You know what? This would be Flight. I just
Yeah,
saw Denzel. Let's get
dude,
those
he missed
guys
the
in the
whole theme
outfit."
of he missed the whole theme of that movie. Like, did he not get to the part at the end when he's like, because I'm alcoholic? Did he miss that part of the movie? Like the entire payoff? By
Oh
the way,
my
that was a
god!
great movie, dude. But let's don't talk about bummer shit right now.
All right,
But
no,
if
we
you're
won't.
in recovery, that's a really great movie.
I haven't seen it, but I know what
If you're
happens.
hopped up on whatever medicine you're on at 2 in the morning, you're like, I got it, dude. Let's make them pilots like Denzel.
You know what's
Like he
funny
missed the
is
whole like John Goodman helping him get through the dude, Jesus Christ.
they saw the movie Scarface. Scott Hall saw the movie Scarface, and they all said, "This is my character to Vince. I'm gonna be Scarface." And he's like, "I don't get it." And they're like, "Watch Scarface." And Vince is like, "Oh, I get it." And then they evolve it, and then yeah, you know he's doing Scarface, but he's not Scarface, right? Hold on, he's not Scarface. Okay, Tony Khan's watching a movie, and he's like, "I just saw Men in Black. Guess what, guys? You guys are alien investigators that wear suits now. Okay, you're gonna wear sunglasses to the ring, and we're gonna give you these little tubes, and you're just gonna put them in people's eyes, and you're gonna be exactly that. That's exactly what Tony like. There's no nuance or changing it up. Like Waylon Mercy was De Niro
It
and
was
Kate.
Robert De Niro's character from Cape Fear.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. You cut me off to
Did
say
I?
that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you I thought your mind was looking for it. That's why I was
But there was like other elements they threw in, and it wasn't exactly De Niro and Cape Fear, but it was like that idea, the concept, right? I'm a
yeah.
psychopath, but I'm nice. And looking back now, that character was amazing. Ended up leading us into Bray Wyatt. He would go. Do you remember that character? He'd go up to people and shake their hand before, and have like he had that stupid knife, fake tattoo on his forehead.
Oh
He'd
yeah.
go in, shake their hands, and be really nice to them, and then he would act like a killer. And then afterwards, he's like, "This guy's great. Come here," and he was just creepy. Dan Spivey, if he hadn't had a knee injury, that character would have been something. I honestly believe that. Whatever injury he had. But they didn't literally make him. They didn't literally make him a psychopath. And Tony's just like, you guys, guess what? You're a flight attendant and you guys are commercial airline pilots, right? We saw Flight, okay? You guys are just having a good time. Like you're like a drunk pilot that's in the VIP lounge. It's just about to
Yeah.
go out and
And you're the hot girl that the pilots like a lot. It's like, dude, they were doing blow and she died because of his. And that's why I was laughing earlier when you were talking about about the Scarface thing. I was like, dude, I guarantee you that the one note Vince had was, hey, he's not gonna have a bunch of white powder on his face, right? We're not gonna do that part of it, right? And they're like, no, of course not. And he's like, all right.
you think about that. And the ones that didn't work is like what Tony Khan's doing. Duke the Dumpster Drosy, he's a trash man. That was it. TL Hopper was a plumber. But also, by the way, the thing that everyone throws that on Vince, and again, not trying to defend Vince, the creator, not the terrible person, okay? The creative. Those guys were jobbers. Like he was setting them up to have like personality. He was essentially evolving it because remember we used to have these jobbers that had no names. These guys had personalities, and they were meant to go out there and lose.
And guess what? They also didn't lose in 20 minutes. They lost in 3 because he's a fucking garbage man. That's why he lost in 3. He's a fucking hockey player, dude.
You look at Raw, and
Pardon my
there's like
French. I'm
I
trying to be better
remember
with the swearing.
the fact that I remember the storylines with the New Day, which is like the C level now, but even those are interesting.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Can we talk about that?
what do you want to talk about that with that? Go
About
ahead.
about the whole like Xavier Woods turning heel. What do you think of that, dude?
I like it. I know they wanted to stay together forever, but Big E's gone. And from what I understand, he's not going to come back.
He can't come back, dude. I
The
mean,
Odyssey Jones thing blew up in their face. I think it's time to call it an ending. And I think they could be creative. And I know they don't want to do the traditional breakup they never wanted to, but I'd like to see heel New Day at this point. You know what it is, and I
well, Kofi's not
understand.
going to turn, right? He's turning on. I mean, he Xavier helped Chad Gable beat
By
Kofi,
accident.
right?
You
By
know what I'd
accident?
like to, you know what I'd like to see if they want to be different. And this is just me giving my booking. I'd like to see them go through this whole period, but instead of them turning to fight each other, Kofi's like, you know what? He goes all in, like, no, this is how you do it, and they just start being heels, heel New
Wouldn't that be
Day.
awesome if he
Yeah,
says, "Hey, you know what? You're right, dude. I'm tired of being the dancing black guys. Enough, enough." That'd be great, dude. I would love that.
and it's like with Cena. Remember, Cena didn't turn, and I think a Cena turn would have been amazing. I think he would have pulled it off.
Yeah, but so many
But the
kids would have
reason
been
they
so
didn't do
sad.
that, yeah, that's the reason. It's a business decision and also a community decision. I
Yeah,
get it. I get it. But
because what if one of those kids he did like a make-a-wish? What if one of them didn't die? He pulled through, and then say it turned bad, and then he would die. There's a lot of pressure on that poor guy.
but you look at that show. Raw was amazing
Could
Monday.
you imagine? Could you imagine if he turned heel, dude? Could you imagine how shitty that would be? Like all the children's hospitals he went to, like us arrogant pricks. It made sense, and then when you hear Cena explain it, you're like, "Oh yeah, dude, you literally couldn't, dude." It's like you couldn't turn Hulk bad, and it took like it was 10 years later. You know what I mean? It was like, and
It
then
took Hulk getting to Jericho level of people just annoyed with him for him to do something.
yeah,
And he did it a different way. He was a different heel than Hall and Nash too. I would argue that Hogan wasn't the cool one. Hogan was the heel that kept him heel. The other two did heel things, but were cool. It was so
yeah. Hogan was the one who could cut a really good promo.
yeah. He
I
could.
mean,
The other guys, you
dude,
just
that
wanted
was
to
an
hang with him.
epic promo though. Like when he turned, that was an epic.
Yeah,
Like people threw garbage in the ring. That does not happen anymore.
yeah. But I liked Raw by the way, and I love the main event, and I didn't see the Seth Rollins things coming for some reason.
You didn't see it coming?
I didn't see it coming. I forgot
Dude,
about it.
what a great yeah. So let's talk about what were your favorite parts of Raw, and let's get to and we'll talk about the monster fight at
I
the
like the
end.
main event. I My least favorite part off the top of my head is I'm kind of over like I think we've done the Sammy. I know why they're doing it, but I thought because it's a transitional feud, but I was over the Sami
I thought it
Zayn.
was cool, dude. He finally he finally bucked him in. Dude, it's kind of cool. He talked enough shit. He got him angry enough, and then exactly what would happen in real life with someone who's not on his level. You like the nerd talk shit to the bully so much that the only thing that can happen is the bully beats the shit out of him, dude. And then he's like, "Hey, guess what? I'm gonna beat the shit out of you again on Saturday." So I thought it was pretty cool because like
I
dude that was a stiff clothesline. Ooh,
Yeah.
I love
I
Gunther.
think
He's probably like my favorite dude.
I think they made a
Uh,
mistake in going with the Jey Uso thing. Um, I know Jey Uso's over, and I know it makes they
but
think they're trying to make him a different level, but I don't think he needed it, and I think Braun Breaker needed to keep the belt, and I think they could have made him transition to a baby face like Stone Cold.
yeah,
Like
I think that I don't really get like when everyone's like when he's like yeet or whatever he's doing, like that whole like, which by the way was a really cool shot when Jey Uso was like talking to the camera and then they were right outside the curtain and then he was going to walk down the stairs. And by the way, when he gave his son a little kiss on the forehead, that was goddamn adorable, dude. I mean, but everything he said, all those words that people were cheering, I don't understand any of it, dude. I don't understand the yeet thing. I don't understand what he's talking about. It's like almost like a true cult of personality. Like people just so I think that they really played up the whole he never won before. I don't know. It's kind of cool. They like it actually made him more over when he won the belt, kind of. But then, like you said, now Braun Breaker is like left holding his dick, dude, while this guy's talking about yeets. And it's
Yeah.
like and the true savage is like kind of, maybe he'll I don't know. Like, did you like when they shook hands and he was like, and then he gave him
No,
props
I
back?
didn't. I
You
didn't.
didn't like
I
it?
like with friendships. I like uneasy alliances after having to do stuff like that. I kind of like like the Roman Reigns and the Cody Rhodes thing. Although I'm getting fearful that I think it's going to be like Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes and a bunch of all stars in War Games, and I'm still hoping that there's like a Samoan, Samoans versus or Polynesians versus and Samoans versus each other or whatever. Um, let's go. Look, I'm gonna run that. I got the list here of what happened on the show. So
Oh,
let's
look at
go through it.
you. Goddamn
See,
professional.
CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. It says the
Ooh, that
first
was
thing
good.
that was a good promo. I liked they didn't touch each other. I thought that was good. They did in the cage. I think the cage is too big now. I don't like the 20 foot. I think it should be 15.
You don't like it.
Uh, huh?
You don't like it. Well, it's cool for them because they're not going to do anything off the top.
No, and I hope so. And there were talk about CM Punk says he wants to do this differently, and I think that's great. They need to get back to the
They're
beginning.
going to have a grinder, I think, right?
The meat
I
grinder,
mean,
like at a Guar concert.
no, not like the website. I mean, or the app. I mean, like they're just gonna fuck each other in the middle of the cases so someone's quit. So someone quits.
So
No,
bad.
I mean they're gonna
I
have like
saw
a
that
grindy.
image and thing. Oh my god, that you made me blush there.
That's what they meant was I'm gonna make you bleed. And it's like, oh,
Don't do that. You put images in my head, man.
and he's like,
Oh,
no, I'm gonna make you bleed. And it's like, dude, what if they make each other? What if they make each other bleed? I don't know.
stop, stop.
Stop with
Move
it.
it on. Move it on.
Oh, hey everyone. Dude, that's our code if one of us gets a little unruly. All right. I mean grinding matches. They're gonna like they're not gonna go with the cage. They're just gonna like a lot of grinding is based on the cage, lots of blood, lots of like
The brawl style that we miss. We miss that we
a lot
actually
of
enjoyed the
methodical ass whipping.
Bret Hart, Stone Cold style stuff, and I think they could pull it off. But I'm just saying, I think the cage though is too big. I don't understand why it has to be 20 feet. 15 was enough. I mean, hell, look what happened
Well,
to
probably because Drew McIntyre's 6'8", dude. So it's like it's gonna look a little. It probably looks more like menacing, right? I don't know. I don't
yeah.
mind it, dude. I don't mind it.
I think they overdid it
Hey, as long as it's not
for the high
red,
spot.
I don't give a shit. As long as it's not red, I don't care.
Um, yes, we saw the Jey Uso and all that. Laya Valkyria versus Zoe Stark. That was fine. I thought it was a good matchup and pushes that thing forward. We talked about Kofi Kingston and Chad Gable already. Then Rey Mysterio and Xavier Woods. I like those matches. I
Yeah.
thought they were storyline matches. They were good matches. They were entertaining matches.
Yep. Angles. They're angles.
Right. I mean, LWO versus Judgment Day. The LWO, boy, the LWO. They got to
You
get away from
mean
that at some
the
point.
the traveling t-shirt salesman. They are not gonna get away from that, dude.
I hope so. I really do. I like what's happening with the Judgment Day. I like the Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley stuff. I mean, that's all happy. But the best part of it was the whole lead up and Tessitorio or Tessitorio. What's his name again? I knew his name last week. Why am I forgetting it today? Our brand new announcer, the ESPN announcer, is doing a great job. I'm going to still sing his praises. The build up all the way to that last Monster Standing matchup was amazing. I thought that lived up to the hype. They had some great spots. I think the ring exploding is like an overdone thing, but it makes it right under the wire.
Honestly,
And
can I
then
say, dude, I was getting so fired up for this main event. I think that they
they
I think
promoted
did
it
this
really
feud.
well. Go ahead.
I mean, just two big beefies, dude. Two big beefies. And like
But
this is the first time Braun Strowman has been cool in a long time. And Bronson Reed is like they're really giving him like, he's
well,
been doing every advantage, every opportunity he's gotten so far in this thing. I think he's done great. And if you notice, they're not holding the mic talking to each other for minutes at a time. They're just
no,
getting there and they're just kicking the shit out of each other and they're kicking the dude. I
that's
love
what
when he
makes it
threw
great. They're
that
just
audience member at him.
getting at it, man. They're just getting at it, doing stuff. The talking is very minimal. It's awesome.
Like I always think like how would I think if I was a kid and the little me would be going bananas at this at that whole feud, like bananas.
You know what's great about it too is that the last they called it last monster standing, but it's relatable, and then they don't like do dumb shit like call it meat madness and meat because somebody put it on X and start putting it out like that.
Yeah, they
And it
already had
shows
it.
you
Sorry, go ahead.
no, it shows you the different audiences that we're talking about here. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna make a joke about they already have a match where they're gonna
you're you're out of control today. Please don't. You're killing wrestling for me. Now I'm not gonna be able to watch it.
I told you, man. We were talking off air, but in San Francisco right now, it's adorable. We were in the middle of a heat wave, which means it's like 88. But the problem is, no one in San Francisco has air conditioning unless you're like a movie theater or a Target. So it's very hot right now in my room, and I'm trying. I think my brain is baking.
You're gonna go to one of those clubs around the corner and just be dancing, and all the bubbles are gonna come out.
What club is that?
I
Dude, what
don't
movies have you watched about here?
know.
Although
You
we
ever
do
see
have the
it's
power
sitcom
exchange.
tropes. Sitcom tropes. There's always a club and the bubble machine, and then people go in there and they're like looking for somebody, and they're like, Where are all the bubbles coming from?"
There is a club here that you can do all kinds of bad stuff.
Oh my God. If you're going to San Francisco, make sure to wear some flowers in your hair. It's not like that anymore.
No. So hold on. So is there a match for Braun for Strowman? And by the way, I could see why like Vince was like, no one can have the same goddamn first name because I'm doing it right now with Braun Breaker and Braun Strowman. So I can see why that maniac. That's like one of his rules that I totally get now because I get confused. So did they have there's no match for Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. God damn, dude. And Bronson Reed for this pay-per-view coming up on Saturday, right?
No, and it's crazy because you think with Bad Blood that they would have that uh the Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. Here's the
Well, I
crazy
feel like
part.
there's only one Hell in a Cell, though. I think that's like
That
that's
was
like
the
a really
worst gimmick, and that was the worst gimmick with Money in the Bank too. It's like let's make it a pay-per-view. It's like every match will be Money in the Bank. Just too much. Everybody gets a custom briefcase with your logo on it. I don't know where that started either. Same with the belts. Just wear the regular belt, you son of a bitch. Hey, here's
so
the best part of that whole thing. So the match ends, everything's done, but Seth Rollins comes out, and now all you're thinking about is I want to see Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins.
yes.
I mean, that's called storylines and writing and purpose, like one feud feuding into the next. Now I don't give a shit about the rematch between Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. And by the way, Braun Strowman most likely tore his groin at that
Growing,
match,
yeah.
still made it through.
What a
So,
tough guy.
but even there, they weren't going to go back to the well again. They were going to give it some time to breathe. Now all of a
Yeah.
sudden we're up for Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. That's like a marquee matchup now.
Yeah.
Who'd have
And by the
thought?
way, what a great like the visual of Bronson Reed, his face mushed on the stairs. And then Braun Strowman stand there, and then Seth Rollins standing on top of, dude, what a great visual. Because, dude, I can't figure out Bronson Reed. I know he's a big boy, but he is either the best actor or he is always winded and he just like perseveres, dude. Because he
Right.
looks like he's always gassed the fuck out, and it's like I can't tell if he's a great actor or not.
You're like he's gonna go down, then all of a sudden he's like,
Right? Did you? It's like he looks like he's always like, wait, just give me just give me. He's like the George Wendt character in the SNL. He's like the Bears. He's
how
like
long
that
was
always. Like
how long was that match too? It was pretty long
it
for.
was a long one. Yeah, it was like 15 minutes, I think. Yeah,
You
I
could tell
watched it
Braun
twice.
Strowman was winded, was crazy, but
Well, yeah,
Braun
they're
Strowman.
both, dude. They're both big, dude. They usually don't. Yeah, they usually don't have 15 minutes that because they're smart. Like in that's why when Wardlow has a 10-minute match, the guy looks like he's gonna goddamn die because you're only supposed to have short matches when you're that big
Remember
because
when
you're a
Wardlow
special
should have been?
attraction. What's
Sorry,
up?
I cut you off. I
No, no, no.
apologize.
I was go ahead.
Remember when Wardlow was supposed to be the future of either AEW or WWE? Now WWE's like,
Which
maybe we're gonna.
time was he going to be the future? Which time are you referencing? Jesus Christ,
Oh
right?
my God. Last thing I'll ask you, and then we should wrap up. But last thing,
No.
Bad
So
Blood.
here we go.
Who? I don't want to go through the card. Let's not do that this time.
No. Well,
No.
I don't know who's on there. So can we?
Well, here, let me ask the question, and then I'll tell
Okay.
you. 'Cause I don't care about the rest of the card. It's gonna be good. I know it is because they've been nailing it lately. Who should main event the card? Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes versus the New Bloodline, which is Solo and Fatu, or Hell in a Cell, McIntyre and Punk. There's a big debate about that. A lot of people are advocating for Roman Reigns, but I'm on team Hell in a Cell should headline Bad Blood.
I think Hell in a Cell, I think should, but I also think since it's going to be a grinder, I think it may not be the most. I think that if you did the tag team match, it would close. It would be a lot more up parts. You know what I mean? It would be a lot more. You'd have those hot tags. You'd have like the whole like milking of every single thing. I think you'd have a lot more crowd going bananas than the Hell in a Cell because that's going to be, once they get in there and they're just going to be ramming each other's face against it. I don't know if it should go last. Now that I think about it, although I mean I want it to, it can, but if they're looking at sending everyone home like jacked up, because I think Drew McIntyre is going to win too, so people are going to kind of go home kind of bummed if that's the way it ends.
I think Punk's going to go over.
You
Punk's
think
only
Punk's
got
going to go
one
over?
win since he came back. They got to give him this series.
Dude, one win in 10 years, by the way.
Yeah. In WWE, right? No.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
he won a bunch of the other players. Number one, he's the lineal AEW heavyweight champion.
He still is a champion. He still is a champ.
He never got beat. He got injured. So he's the lineal AEW heavyweight champion with the X over it. But
So wait, so Seth Rollins, is he not? Are they on this card? Is he?
no, they're
I
not.
guess they don't need it, right?
All right. Well, look, I don't want to run through break
you're
that, but
right,
I will
dude. You're
I
right.
will tell you.
You're right, dude. They just like literally made a co-main event match with Bronson and Seth Rollins, and you don't even AEW would have it on goddamn Collision on Saturday, dude. These guys are gonna milk it until like Survivor Series, right?
Yeah, because that's November, right? Yeah, yeah. That's crazy. That's super nuts.
And how do you think that's gonna go? Because
Oh my
like,
God, I can't wait till War Games, Survivor Series, War Games.
well, because it's gonna be interesting because Bronson Reed is like he's not a bad talker, but that Australian accent, everyone sounds like a 12-year-old. Some like it's
He
not the
gives
most
decent promo.
intimidating. So I wonder how that's gonna work. I mean, I'm sure they got it figured out already. And Seth, I mean, dude, I'm excited about Seth. Seth Rollins got kind of, like they kind of like burned him out too because you saw him so much. So yeah, you're right, dude. You're right. They like
Now
totally
I'm
made,
excited about it. I wouldn't care if
yeah.
it headlined War Games at this point. I know it won't, but I'm just saying, or Survivor Series. It's so crazy that Survivor Series is such a great marquee event, and now it has the War Games moniker on it. And it's like I go back and forth between what to call it because, it
See,
really
you
is
don't need
about
Bronson Reed to talk, dude. You just make him go ape shit for the next 7 weeks, dude, because he's like, you cost me my big boy match. Like, just
oh
make
yeah.
him. Oh
That's
man,
it. Have him keep doing he can literally keep doing the same thing, beating up security guards every week.
dude,
While
he's been my
Rollins
horse
goes,
for a while. By the way, Bronson Reed.
oh,
He's
you
been
and
my
I are
horse for a
both.
long time.
I thought he was great in NXT. When they let him go, I was like, that's a mistake. Because he has a different body type, and I know that sounds crazy, but his look is different. He's not a cookie cutter like these other people. I mean, he's a unicorn. Him and Braun Strowman are unicorn monsters. Even more so than like almost. Almost to me, almost is like a better version of the Giant Gonzalez and Satnam Singh. Way better than Satnam Singh.
Oh, he's way better than those. Yeah.
But you know what I mean. So let's go. I don't want to go through details, but I'm just going to tell you the cards so you can tell
Okay.
here. So we already went through the likely main event contenders: CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns versus the Bloodline.
I said my
Uh,
opinion. What do you think is going to go last?
I think they should go with CM Punk, but I think they're
Okay.
going to pick the other one.
Okay.
Um, Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley with Dirty Dominic suspended in a shark cage. Which, again, we're forgetting about. There's a lot of stuff here that we get to
Yeah.
unpack on Raw.
By the way,
And
they've
then,
been doing great too. I'm not a fan of Liv Morgan, but she's been off her ass in terms of being great. Like really, great acting, great. She's a real hussy, dude.
I love
I
it.
love it.
I actually think they should keep the belt on her. I think Rhea Ripley should lose, and I think Rhea Ripley should get in a feud with somebody else because Rhea doesn't need the belt right now.
Well,
She
they got to
don't.
find a way to get Dominic out of there, right? I mean,
Yeah, I like that whole thing. And the other feud in the Judgment Day is Damian Priest and Finn Balor.
ooh. See, if this was like 2 years ago, this would be a Hell in a Cell match too. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad it's not.
But I kind of am looking forward to that one too. I want to
Yeah.
see what happens. We're all invested. This is the difference between these matches and Will Ospreay and Ricochet. We are all invested in all these things. There's points of contention
And
in every
we're
single
invested in the
matchup.
character and the story. We're not like, man, I hope he does that thing where he gives him a German suplex and he lands on his little tootsies.
Here's the weakest match on the card. And even this one, I think, is going to be a decent match because they've been doing fine. It's just overshadowed by everything else. Is the problem? Nia Jax and Bailey.
Oh shit. I didn't even know that was a thing. Oh
Yeah,
wow. Okay. Who's the champion?
Nia Jax. Remember?
Oh no.
You don't remember because there's so much good content that is now like we're talking about that matchup. They're gonna have a decent matchup.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fine, but there's so much more investment in all the other matchups that we're gonna be we're gonna be talking about those versus Nia Jax
The only
versus Bayley.
Nepo from the Rocks family that I care about is Ava.
Madade.
My daughter said that I don't have to go to Hell in a Cell because the cage is too high and I can't fall off.
One last thing, 2 minutes. I'm counting us down also because I'm running out of power. 2 minutes. CW, we didn't even talk about that. Had one of the highest
Oh yes.
rated openings for whatever on that
What was
network.
the ratings?
I don't know. They almost got like 1 million
Damn. So they
people
had
watch.
it was like a 2 match show for the most part. What did you think of the first match, Gia and versus Gia?
Is
Do you
it
think
Gia? I was like, what, have I been saying her name wrong?
you
Is
know?
it
I knew
Gia?
someone who spelled her name exactly like that, and that's how she said it. Yeah, Julia
I,
versus Roxanne
I,
Perez.
I kind of when that woman came out, I knew it was Cora Jade. I don't know how I knew that.
Dude, my favorite part of that whole thing was when she unveiled herself, and then she's like, "And don't forget, I got new titties too." And then, like, for no reason, she already showed her face, and then all of a sudden she's like,
Well, she
it,
always
that
had. She's always
no,
been
no, those are new, dude. No, she got those when she got injured.
get
Brand new
injured, get some.
Hooters. No, I'm not being a pig. I'm just telling you what happened. She like posted a photo of her right when she got them done, and they were like up to here, and
Didn't
now
she have
they're
a
settled
tattoo
down.
on her chest? It looked like she got it removed.
Well, maybe the new titties made him shift. I don't know, but she's a small
Uh,
girl and she got big old hooters. So
I think they should have. I think they would have been better off if they had made
that was
Julia the
so funny,
champion.
dude.
Yeah.
Deep, bleep. It was like so unnecessary. It was so unnecessary, dude. Don't look at me like that, Vic. I'm just telling you what happened, dude. Go back and watch it. That's exactly what she did.
No, I remember now. I just, I was trying not to be. You've been really dirty-minded today on all the
No, I have
fronts.
not. I'm just telling you exactly what happened.
Your whole grinder diatribe, and now you're talking about her breasts. It's just Cora
There was
Jade's
no
breast.
reason for her to unzip her shirt unless to show us. So, what'd you
I
think of the
think.
match, though? It was good, dude. They had a
Oh
really
yeah,
good intensity.
Roxanne Perez just needs to evolve now too. She's at that point, and I like that they're going to team them up. But I think they could have done it if they made Julia the champion, and they could have still like teamed up to go after her or whatever.
Yeah, I thought that they couldn't change both titles, so I was okay with that.
And I guess this also sets up Stephanie Vaquer, and when she comes,
Oh yeah.
and it's her. Can you
Oh,
imagine her
sorry.
and
Yes.
her and Julia versus Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade?
Yeah, and then you can milk that for a little bit.
Those girls in NXT, that's the best women's
I mean,
division.
the what?
That's the best. Not even in WWE. That's the best women's division in of talent and beautiful women is NXT. Did you like the new logo, the new color scheme?
Oh, dude, I don't. What? It was just black, right?
I thought they could have done more with that. I don't know. I didn't
I
understand it.
didn't really. It wasn't that much different, really. I didn't really notice. I mean, I was watching on a small phone,
They
but
took the
really,
little hook that they added. Remember that they did version 2.0 for a while, which was Vince and them, and
oh,
Triple
what it
H
was
did
like
not
everything
like
was
that.
hot pink. Everything was like my background.
Yeah, it was worse than that. It was like multi hot
Thank you for
pink
saying
and
that.
everything. No, your background makes sense. I'm just saying that's nice, but yeah. Um, I like the Ethan Page Trick Williams thing. I wish they kept the belt on Ethan Page longer. I think they should have him take it back, but they really are invested in Trick.
Here's my hot take. Do you think Trick is over, or do you think the chant and the idea of Trick is over?
I think it's more the chant and the idea. I think
Yeah,
he's a talent, but he's still got a ways to go.
he's
He's
super
not.
green, dude.
But I'll tell you this: Ego makes him. Ego has made that feud. Ego's elevated him, but I
Well, he's
think,
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ego. I'd love to see on Raw. I'd love to see Ego on Raw.
So, do you think they're gonna? Because CM Punk kind of 60-40 sort of was like leaning towards helping out Trick or wanting him to win, kind of. In so, do you think they're gonna do a Punk and Ethan Page feud? It would really, I mean, maybe like a one match on NXT. Or do you think?
The cheap way to go about it, which would kind of buzzkill it because and that's what they did, by the way. We didn't even get into that aspect of the Osprey matchup, how they gave that lame ending. They made a big deal about how this is the rubber match for a 4-4 tie for that matchup. And then they had Takeshita go in there and like after all that with your choreographed matchup, you blow it with it was just cheap. So the cheap way to book this Hell in a Cell would be that Ego goes in there and ruins it for
Oh,
them.
dude, you can't do that. No,
I
dude,
know.
that's like Kip coming and taking that fucking pin away, dude. You can't
I
have Ethan Page is great, but he's not on that. No one's gonna that'll be a groan and they'll have to explain what's happening. I don't think you can do that. I
is
hope
that
not.
a step down that Punk would be in a feud even for a bit with Ethan
I
Page
mean, maybe have
after?
him come out and be like, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. And Punk's like, I'm in the middle of something bigger. You know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, I don't think, I would see, I could see them. I think Punk's going to lose. I could see Punk maybe showing up on NXT and them not really making like a reference about it and him like doing a couple of things and then they have a match because it'll put Ethan Page way over. And maybe have Ethan Page go on Raw once. But I mean, Punk is so up here right now, and Ethan Page is great, but he's not. he's not there right now. And I think
Right.
that's like, you're putting Wheeler Yuta in with someone great, thinking Wheeler Yuta is going to come up. It's not really how that works. You got to like, I don't think,
Yeah.
but I do
Um,
think they're going to have some kind of match because, dude, CM Punk even as the guest referee was great. I love that part when he grabbed them both and was like, come on, you guys got to fight, like almost like an MMA ref, when he's like, go, 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 like that was cool. I thought that was cool.